Early pre-Columbians believed in sacrifice. Blood needed to be spilled for their gods. This included killing captives, as well as people from their own society. Mesoamerican art shows the human heart being pulled out. The heart is taken to appease their gods. According to Aztec myth, the gods created world forces with their supernatural blood, and only human blood could sustain it. This is quite brutal. The human heart is being torn out of somebody, and this receives a score of 8 on our bloodometer. For many artists, the crucifixion of Christ was a very popular image during the Baroque time, much because his blood was holy. Such is the case with Peter Paul Rubens. He has painted numerous versions of Christ's death, all very different. This shows Christ being raised up, already nailed to the cross. While not incredibly bloody, portrays the excruciating pain Christ is in. The blood is dripping down from his palms to his arms, and for this, it receives a 4 on our bloodometer. His second piece is the aftermath of the crucifixion, entitled The Deposition. Because Christ is already dead, the painting seems less disturbing. However, Rubens emphasizes the blood here as his body is drenched in it. This gets a 5 on our bloodometer scale. Caravaggio's work on Judith beheading Holofernes was his first really dramatic painting and would pave the way of his and other artists' work to come. With this painting, we see Judith, a Jewish woman, visiting the general for the Syrians and cutting off his head. This is by far the bloodiest work of art for its time. We see the general, still alive, having his head cut off with blood spurting from its neck. This receives a 6 on our bloodometer scale. Another focal point for Caravaggio was his many variations of John the Baptist. Here we see John's severed head being presented on a silver platter. The head dangles as blood drips from his mouth and neck. The blood is not the main focus, it's the fact that his head has been cut off. For this disturbing image, it received a 7 on our bloodometer scale. In Greek art, we see much mention of the mythology and violence of that time period. With Medusa, Perseus was able to vanquish her by cutting off her head. Here we see her severed head, lying on the floor with blood spurting from her neck and her eyes wide with terror. From the looks of this painting, we can tell she was in pain when she died. This gets a 6 on our meter. Prometheus was a crafty god who tricked Zeus and, as a punishment, was bound to a mountain where an eagle would feed upon his regenerating heart for all eternity. His blood can be seen dripping down from his body down to earth. The Greeks painted everything on pottery, and for this time was pretty bloody. Imagine having your heart eternally eaten by an eagle. Ouch. 7 on our bloodometer. In the story of Odysseus, the famous Greek warrior, he washes up on an island and throughout his journey drives a burning stake into the eye of a cyclops. This image shows the courage of an old warrior and how he overcomes a raging behemoth. Look at how huge the spike is, piercing this giant's eye, and blood spurting out of it. This gets a 6 on